Yo, what up? And welcome back to One Day Before the Draft. This is your pre-draft. It's a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. And we have a special guest that I know none of y'all have seen before, but you're going to see him for the first time here tonight. And that is our very own Black Ninja DJ. And so he's here. He's one of the guys. He's one of the crew. He's one of the Grizz fam. And so he's going to be here giving us a lot of the draft stuff. But tonight it's going to be Nate and I kind of bringing in this guy, and we're going to be talking through the draft, what he likes, his big board. He has a top 10 draft board, but then also his top 5 Grizz fits. And from that point, we're going to go ahead and get halfway through the show. We're going to say sayonara to Black Ninja DJ, and then me and Nate are going to get down and dirty and give you our predictions for the draft tomorrow night. We have so much that we want to share. We have information that you might want to hear, so make sure you stay tuned. But that's it. That's enough from me. Make sure you tune in through the entire show tonight, but also tomorrow night we have our live draft show. It's starting off right at 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. So we're going to be there throughout the entire lottery or until the Grizzlies pick. So for some reason, there's some crazy trades. We're going to stay with you the whole night. And so you want to tune in, but that's it. That's all we got. Let's go ahead and bring in our guys. And guess what? Our first look at the guys. All right, Nate, you're here. You're always my number 2. What's up? How are you? How's the night going? Do you have a baby yet?
No baby yet.
Okay.
It's lasagna time. I'm just going to shut up. I'm just hungry. More than anything, I'm hungry. But now I'm excited to have this guy here. It's all we've been talking about, getting him on the show for so long. So don't even talk to me. It's not about me.
All right, Black Ninja DJ, you're here. Excited? You're on mute. Crucial.
What?
Oh, no.
That's how you can tell he was meant for the show. If you don't try and start on mute, then you're not a part of the show.
Yo, I looked at the light. I was like, man, I'm on mute. Let me go ahead and hit the button. Hey, there we go.
Right,
but yeah, I'm excited.
First things happening. What happened? Something dropped.
Mikal Bridges got traded
to the Knicks.
That's not true.
For like 17,000.
Woj bomb. It's legit.
Yep. Which
for
obviously we hate the Nets. So the Nets suck. But number 2, OG is on the market, in my opinion.
All right. I got a question. Okay. All right. Thank you, Chris, No Bluffing Podcast. Listen, I had no idea. We were actually doing a rehearsal. And so I literally had first time looking at my phone. We had a rehearsal for tomorrow night, and it lasted way too long because 1, I'm an idiot and I'm trying to do my best. But 2, the breaking news is Mikal Bridges to the Knicks for Bojan Bogdanovic, 4 unprotected first-round picks, a protected first-round pick via the Bucks, an unprotected pick swap, and second rounder. My God.
That's crazy.
Black Ninja DJ, your thoughts on that? Any way that's too much, or is that enough?
Honestly, it may seem a steep price, but considering the Knicks and where they are, I mean, you got to think about it. This puts them right in title contention, you would think. I mean, you got Brunson, you got Mikal Bridges. I mean, you got the pieces, Josh Hart, got DiVincenzo. And like I said, possibly they're going to bring Hartenstein back along with Mitchell.
Sheesh.
I mean, Knicks are going to be good. I mean, they're going to be contenders in the East for sure. I mean, they're going for it. I mean, like I said, it's just a matter of how Thibodeau is going to manage it. Hopefully he manages to where the guys don't break down when they get to the playoff time. But Knicks are legit.
Okay.
I mean, hey, good for the Knicks.
Yeah. So Nate, come back to you on that. Looking at this, what does that say for OG and Anunoby? Because you're obviously about to sign, Mikal Bridges, and you're going to pay him what you're going to pay him. Any chance that this means that OG's not coming back, or is this like, hey, the Knicks say, hey, if you want to sign, cool. Like, if not, cool. Or do you what's your thoughts on that completely? Because I'm kind of torn.
I think they probably let OG go. It's either they're letting OG go, or you brought Mikal Bridges to go even bigger game hunting. Sorry. I couldn't think of words there. It's that kind of day. Yeah. But it's either that's one of those two things. Now, I think the OG thing is, he got hurt in the playoffs. It was said he was trying to hold him for ransom. They might have been like, nah, we're not doing this. And a lot of people would consider Mikal Bridges an upgrade over OG, I would think, even if it's just slight, right? So I don't know. But my second thought was exactly what Chris said, which is Cam Johnson is probably now on the line, which is like Vince Williams, what we've been hoping Vince Williams could turn into type of player, and we could always use another wing. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that could happen after that. But my first thought was OG is a free agent.
Yeah. That's shocking to me that OG would walk. I don't know, man. Like I just see that there could be a lot that they're doing in Brooklyn for sure with getting all these picks, but they're not going to be good. But at what point, at what point did they say, "Hey, we're going to go for it"? What year is it? A 2-year plan, 3-year plan, whatever it is. And at some point, like these guys have to be like on the table to be sold. And so at that point, you're talking about a Brooklyn fire sale, as Wayno said. Like BlackNinjaDJ, is there anybody on that team that you like? And is Cam Johnson one of them guys?
I would say yes, just in terms of Cam. He gives that length. Like I say, he's D&D 3 type. Like I said, can shoot it, which we need the shooting. I mean, we need spacing. So Cam Johnson option. I can't remember if Dorian Finney-Smith is on the Nets. I don't know if he's escaped. So yeah, Dorian Finney-Smith is another guy I think I like for the Grizz as well to pair with what we got. So I mean, there's 2 options for the Nets. I just as a Grizzly fan, I would have loved to have Mikal. God, man, I wanted Mikal so bad with this.
Same.
I know we tried to get him, but hey, now time to turn the page.
Listen, the madness is starting, and we're on the eve of the draft. We're going to kind of just keep going back to this. I don't know how much more we want to spend on this, but obviously this is an open topic. We can hit it. But just doing talking about the cheap option now would be maybe DFS. Would they let him go for cheap? Because once you make a big move, everybody knows the cat's out of the bag. You're going to make moves now. So you honestly might be able to get the rest of the guys for, not a really, really cheap, whatever, throw in, hey, we'll just throw in Zaire for DFS, call it a day. But you might be able to get him cheaper than you expected. But anyway, listen, the draft is tomorrow night. We have a lot to get in, to do that. And so I do want to hit on this last thing is Claxton. Claxton's a free agent. Am I right or wrong?
Don't know. Don't care.
Okay. I'm not a big Nick Claxton fan anyway, so let's just move on. Yeah. Wayno, we love you. We're going to move on.
I'm good.
All right, going to the draft. On a scale of 1 to 10, BlackNinjaDJ, how excited are you for the draft tomorrow night?
Honestly, I'm going to say about 8, just because of the unpredictableness of it. I mean, we're hearing rumors left and right. I mean, we're hearing Richard Shire going to 1. We're hearing Sarr doesn't even want to go to Atlanta. He wants to go to the Wizards, which is something I thought I would never hear somebody say ever. Yeah. Just the unpredictableness. I mean, I got guys, and you seen Chip and Ryan, same thing. I mean, we got guys that are all over the place. You got guys that are projected to go 5, that could go 15 that could be going top 10. Who knows? So it's going to be a wild draft for sure. I'm looking forward to it, actually.
I'm absolutely excited about the draft, but another trade has happened. So more to the deal. Houston acquires the 2029 more favorable of Dallas and Phoenix first-round pick, and acquires right to swap Houston's first-round pick for less favorable Dallas first-round and Phoenix first-round. Whatever. All right. So Houston's in the deal somehow. They're going to swap something. Who knows what spit they're swapping, but they are in the deal. Either way, they figured out a way to get some swaps back and forth. But the draft is picks. Yeah, well, I don't know. So the draft is exciting, and I am actually excited. I didn't think I would be. Like it kind of shocks me that I am as excited as I am about it. And I think there are some guys that are good, but I don't put too much stock into the draft, and I hope other people don't as well, because this could be a big swing for the Grizzlies, such as they make a big swing and make a trade up to 3 or 5. I have more on that information a little bit later. Or they could stay at 9 and take a guy like a Ron Holland who has the upside potential, but honestly, like he hasn't really shown a whole lot on as of right now, but he could. And that potential of having him on their roster, there is a lot of upside to it. And so let's go ahead and look at your draft board real quick. And so it's going to look a little bit different, but the draft board for the BlackNinjaDJ has Alex Sarr at first, then Ron Holland, followed by Reed Shepard, Devin Carter, Donovan Clingan. And this is just strictly a draft board for all NBA. 6th ranked is Stefan Castle, Daron Holmes, Isaiah Collier, Matos Buzelis, and then Nikola Topic. All right, so that's the top 10. And just sticking with that, I want to stay away from the Grizzly stuff for a second. But just looking at your top 10, did anyone just jump out to you, BlackNinjaDJ, that you saw that you're like, hey, I like this guy. I didn't think I was going to love him as much as I did, but I now see that he's a guy that I really I couldn't resist. Like he jumped up my draft board more than I expected.
Yeah, so the one guy that I would say definitely jumped up more than I expected is Ron Holland. Just looking at him and his film, he jumped out to me a lot more than I thought he would. I mean, Ron Holland, 5-star high school recruit, has a good frame, 6'6", 6'7". Like I said, I know he suffered an injury around January, but like I say, he should be back in time. Like I said, he's got that multi-position versatility, can initiate plays. It's a solid rebounder and a very good defender. And he averaged like 20 points a game for the night. I mean, he had like 16 games where he scored 20 points or more, and 4 games in which he scored 30 or more. So when I first had Ron Holland, I wasn't as high as him, but looking at his film again, he definitely jumped up for me. If the Grizzlies were to get him at 9, I mean, I think it'd be a steal, honestly. Like I said, he just reminds me of when I look at him, he reminds me of like Corey Maggette or like a small Anton Walker, but he's just more athletic when I watch him. So Ron Holland definitely jumped up for me on my board.
Yeah, and that's what just looking at the board in general. We'll take another look back at it. Ron Holland has been a mainstay for most. Like it has been a guy, especially within Ryan and Chip. They both have loved him, and I know you saw their board as well. But Reed Shepard has been high on theirs. Devin Carter has, as well as John McClingan. So no surprises from really 1 through 5. Looking through 6 through 10, Daron Holmes, which I know that Nate loves Daron Holmes. Is there anybody else that you're like, man, this guy is possibly the steal of the draft? Is anybody right there within the 6 to 10 for you?
I would say, and they agree with me, Daron Holmes is definitely a guy in that range that I do love, that I think would be a steal. For whatever reason, people have him projected in the lower rounds, which I don't agree with personally. I mean, the guy, he's just a big, versatile big. I mean, he has a 7'1" wingspan, and he runs the floor like a deer. And he has a very fluid shot when he shoots the ball. I mean, the guy can be a great pick and pop big. He's a very productive rebounder. I mean, the guy, he was productive just all around this season. I mean, I believe he averaged 20 points this season, 8 rebounds. I mean, the guy was just productive all around. I know the age could be a little bit concerned, but for me and where the Grizzlies are, I mean, honestly, I don't see any concern. I mean, maybe a little bit older, but I mean, sometimes in this case, this is the best time to choose those type of guys. And there's also one more guy. He's not in that range, but Devin Carter. All right. Devin Carter. I love Devin Carter. All right. Explosive guard. 42 max vert. I mean, he could score on all 3 levels. I mean, the guy just gets buckets. He's very experienced. And for a guard, he's a very good rebounder. He averaged 8.7 rebounds a game. I mean, and on defense, average about 2 steals a game. I love Devin Carter. I'll just say that now. If the Grizzlies were to choose him as well, just as a backup guard, no issues with that. I love Devin Carter and love Daron Holmes.
Well, looking at that, yeah, like the Daron Holmes, obviously we know you love him as well, Nate. And so any questions about that? Anything you want to get into about Daron Holmes, Nate?
Actually, not Holmes, because all I need to hear is that you love him. That's all I want to hear from anybody. He is, like I said, I think he's awesome. He just makes so much sense, and like Chip was saying, I think a lot of people are overthinking Daron Holmes. I just think he's going to be good. My biggest question is actually, I'm going to bring your board back up. You're the only guy we've had on so far that's big on Donovan Clingan. You're the only guy that I've seen that's big on Donovan Clingan and thinks he's, one, a true top 5 guy, but two, another guy that would be a great target for the Grizz. Obviously, Chip was not super low on him or anything like that, but I want to go just into sort of your mindset with why you thought Clingan was such a good fit after we've heard a couple of guys not think he's the best fit.
Yeah, so I just think the thing with Donovan is what I watched him, some of the big thing I was looking for, especially when you talk about the NBA game, is okay, does he move well? Does he have great anticipation? Like I said, and how he can handle space and pick and roll, things like that, which is today's NBA game. And when I looked at Donovan, he does remind me of Walker Kessler, for lack of better comment. He does remind me of Walker Kessler. Yeah. He's not the same defender Walker Kessler, but has the same ability. I just think he has better offensive skill set than Walker Kessler. But yeah, I mean, like I said, at least shot blocker. I know, like I said, when you play college ball, you play covers, you play mostly backside on the help D. But like I said, he has very good touch around the rim. Like I said, I think he has the ability. He can shoot from the perimeter. He does that ability. Now I can understand maybe some concerns, like I said, maybe being stronger with the ball and things like that, understand to play big, but those are things you can coach. So I just think Donovan Clingan, I think maybe there's some things that maybe people are not high on just because of the college game. And maybe sometimes I think he just wasn't maybe the best fit for the college game. I think he may be a better fit in the NBA. So for me, that's maybe why I'm higher on Donovan Clingan when I looked at him.
That's interesting. That's why I wanted to ask you, because we've heard some opinions that were sort of dissenting from that. Everyone else seems to be big on Clingan. Honestly, my biggest knock on Clingan is that he's not Daron Holmes. That's honestly my biggest knock on him. But we have reached that point of draft year that I told Daniel was going to come, where I can be talked into and out of anybody. And so now I'm getting talked back into Clingan. So it's exciting to see. I'm clearly not a draft guy.
Yeah, I just think with Clingan, I think it may be a possible just overexposure, like we've seen him at UConn, so much, and you're just able to dissect him more than maybe some other prospects. So maybe sometimes you can overthink when you've seen a guy so many times, and maybe that could be the case with Clingan.
Gotcha.
One thing on Clingan, I will say that I watched a lot of the highlights and a lot of his film, and what sold me on him, it wasn't the defense. It really wasn't the shooting. It was the passing. And once I saw that he can step out, and when you have a pick and roll, and the reason I've been kind of against Edey in a sense is because Edey is a one-trick pony. And I don't mean that in a negative way of, hey, he can only do one thing. He's really good at that one thing, and that is pick and roll. And he can roll with the best of them because he is a giant and he can post up. Like, that's his game. And we all know that on the offensive end. He does a good pick and roll. The only thing that he could do is he can pick and hold, such as when you pick, you kind of hold and lean into your guy. So you take your guy that you're screening out of the play, and then it's a one-on-one, let's say with Ja Morant. And if Ja goes to the front of the rim, he obviously can beat his guy. If not, he does have a trailing Zach Edey. The only thing I don't like about that is there's no other way you can do it, because if you did do a pick and roll and it was a pick with an immediate roll with Zach Edey, you literally are just you're kind of like enhancing Zach Edey as your main offensive creator, and that's not what I want in this game. That's not the direction I want this team, because at that point you're clogging the lane. So if Edey was to roll first, you're clogging the lane for a guy who is the best at getting to the front of the rim and Ja Morant. And so that's why I don't love it. Zach Edey can't really pop out as much to be able to pass the ball and facilitate and be that guy who can be that, you can run the carousel off of him. So if you want to have Clingan, just like Steven Adams was passing the ball, let Bain run up to him, quick handoff. You run around him like he's a carousel, maybe go back to him, come back for a rescreen, another handoff, or a dump down pass on a back end. That's what I look for in a big, and also a lob threat. And that's what, I think, in my opinion, you have to have a lob threat. I think Edie is, but I just think he has, I think there's a different lob threat. He's a giant lob threat. Like doesn't have much more. So what's your thoughts on Zach Edey, since we're kind of there right now, BlackNinjaDJ?
Yeah, I'm just not that high on Zach Edey, honestly. I mean, part of it is again, it's like speed of the game in the NBA. My fear with Edey is like when the time comes, is he's just gonna get played off the court. I mean, like I said, he's a big physical guy. But again, just kind of too slow for me. He just, the effectiveness level, like you said, on the pick and rolls, I don't see how it could be very effective. He can't space the floor in any fashion. So just in terms of the overall NBA game, I mean, I just don't see him as a great fit. So that's, like I said, I'm just not really as high on Edey. Like I said, I could be proven wrong, but as of right now, not too high on him at all.
Yeah, I agree, and that's kind of, and like Wayno's saying right here, you're talking about the second coming of the beat. Like, we don't need that. We've been there. We've seen it. We have the book. We've like have the scars from that. We don't want more at the beat, and that's what is worrisome. Is like Zach Edey is a very good college basketball player. He's even a very good basketball player. But the college game and the pro game are so different. I think Clingan, like you were talking about, BlackNinjaDJ, like it actually does enhance his game better on the offensive end. Just looking at the Grizzlies. And so, since we're talking about the Grizzlies, let's go ahead and go back to your big board. Let's go to your top 5 Grizzlies fits, because obviously we've been talking about Clingan. Clingan runs up to your top of your list here. You do go Ron Holland. So Ron Holland does, he's always wearing the he's the bride. Yeah, bridesmaid, never the bride. So Ron Holland, you're number 2 here as well. But Daron Holmes running up the board, and then you love Devin Carter. You did say you love Devin Carter more than Daron Holmes, but you have him flip-flop, just saying. And then a guy who is not in your top 10, Dalton Connect. So talk a little bit about your the Grizzlies, top Grizzlies fits here, and anybody that stands out to you.
Yeah, so in terms of my big four for the Grizzlies, a couple of the main factors I had was 2 things: versatility and size. Also, the matchups we're playing, considering we're in the West. So, especially when it comes to Clingan, you just got to think about in our own division. I mean, we got Wembanyama, we got Sengun. Like I said, I mean, you got, and the guy's escaping me in Dallas. I don't know why he's escaping me all of a sudden.
Dwight Powell. You're thinking about Dwight Powell.
Yeah, the other big. That's
Gafford and Lively.
Yeah. And then, like I say, I mean, you got Jokic. I mean, Gobert, Carlton Towns. I mean, you got bigs in the West. So Donovan would solve a lot of questions that we have as far as the Grizzlies go, especially in the front court, just from a size perspective and the matches we have. So that's why I have Donovan number 1. Ron Holland, I have him number 2 just because the overall versatility he can provide. I mean, he can play possibly 2, 3, and 4 need be. Like I said, he's again just I think he's all around could be a good fit. He could solve a lot of needs. Just, I mean, scoring off the bench, rebounding, also that size that we need in terms of defending. Like I said, the bigger guards or bigger forwards that we have. Like I said, I'm just thinking maybe like the Jaden McDaniels, that Swiss Army knife for the Grizzlies. So, and Daron Holmes, and I can explain why I have him above Devin Carter. So Daron, again, with the size in the front court, I mean, we need the size. I mean, we are small overall. And I think Daron will be an upgrade over Santi. Just turns that big that we need. And he can pair well with Ja and Jaren. And we can even, I would say we could go 5 out with Daron Holmes. So just the overall versatility, like I said, the size, the production he could provide. Is the reason I have Daron Holmes over Devin Carter. Just for the simple fact is we do need a backup point guard. I know they're thinking of Marcus being that backup point guard, but ultimately I just don't see Marcus being that guy. If Ja gets hurt or if we need to sub out somebody for Ja to be, setting up the offense and things like that. So I just think Devin Carter would be good for a backup point guard if they go that direction. And for Dalton Connect, Dalton again. When I looked at Dalton Connect again, just that size and that versatility, and also the shooting. I mentioned to you earlier before we came on that I think Dalton Connect has ability to go 40, 50, 90. He has that potential, like I said, to really just be a spot on shooter. I really think he could replace Luke if we decide to trade him. And he has ability to be a secondary playmaker, especially in the post. And Dalton is actually more athletic than I think people give him credit for. If you look at his combine, he had a 39 max vert, which I think most people probably may not expect it from Dalton. So he's more athletic than people give him credit for. And he can be a solid defender. So I just think Dalton could be a good fit, like I said, for us overall.
Yeah. I do like Dalton Connect being on the Grizzlies. I think that he could be a Luke Kennard replacement. And I know I've said this and it's probably outlandish, but you could have that, but also like people looked past Desmond Bain. And in this draft, honestly, if you look at a guy like Dalton Connect, he should probably go, anywhere between 8 to 20, 8 to 15, if you're being realistic, maybe 8 to 14, staying in the lottery. But in a normal draft, that's probably like 20 to 30. If you really looked at this and broke it down, because there's no tier 1 guys really in this draft. So let's say you include some tier 1. Let's just say you just move everybody back 10 spots. You're probably looking at a guy in the 20 to 30s. And that's kind of where you're looking at where Desmond Bain went. He could be a guy that's being overlooked because of his age, because of, he really didn't, do anything that wowed you on the court for TCU. But he did do a lot for Tennessee. And so I'm curious about Dalton Connect. But let's go ahead and run you through a little bit of rapid fire real quick, BlackNinjaDJ, and then I have some personal questions for you. So don't think you're getting out too fast.
Right.
All right. So let's go through these real quick. And Nate, if you have anything, let me know. But sleeper of the draft for you, under 30 seconds, please.
Ooh, sleeper. I Magbo. I agree with Chip and Ryan. Magbo, man. I got a chance to check out a little bit of his film. But yeah, the guy, he has tools. I mean, he's a physical, athletic, like I said, type of freak that can just move. When I watched him, man, he just gave me Kenneth Fareed guys. Like the guy has a motor, just nonstop. I mean, he's going out the boards. Bitch is real strong. Like I said, shooting that mid range, he could probably stand it a little bit and could be a very active defender. So I agree. Magbo, I think he's rated way low than what he should be. I think he could be a great spark plug off the bench, potentially develop into a starter for somebody. So Magbo is my guy.
All right, I need one word answer for this comment from Clayton Hurley. Klingen is the beat. One word answer. All right, give me as many words as you want.
No, I honestly, I would just say no, wrong.
Wrong.
Wrong. No, I don't.
I'll give you two words. Fake news.
Yeah, Edie's to beat. I mean, Edie's to beat 2.0. No.
All right, we're gonna keep going with that. I'd say your biggest riser in the draft, whether it's from you or somebody else, anybody that you've seen the biggest riser in the draft right now.
It seemed like it's lately been, I think, Richardshire, because I know lately Richardshire's been lower, but man, it's like lately now you're hearing them about going number 1 to the Hawks, which is
crazy.
Surprised me. I was like, really? Like I got him like number 11. I got him number 11 on my board. I mean, hey, Richardshire is a wild card to draft for me. He's boomer bust. He has the tools. He has a great feel for the game. But I mean, number 1, I mean, that's That's a little high for my taste. Like I said, I mean, he played in the same league as Wemby and Blake. I mean, so I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I seen him shoot up quite a bit. So yeah, Richard Sher.
All right, Nate, you got anything?
Well, one, I just want to see the Hawks blow it. But two, who do you think will be the biggest faller on draft night? Like, who do you think is a high projection that you're like, I could see this guy slipping way down below a guy's people think he'll go?
I'm gonna have to say Dillingham. Yeah, Dillingham. I know some people like him, but he just didn't jump out to me. He didn't impress me. I mean, he can score the ball. I'm sure he could come on the bench and be a scorer. He reminds me maybe like a smaller like Tyrese Maxey. He comes with the A mentality. Like, I'm gonna come off the bench. I'm gonna score. But his size scares me. I mean, like especially on defense. I mean, he fouls quite a bit. He averages like 3 fouls a game, which for a guard his size is not good. I mean, you're gonna be facing bigger, stronger, faster guys. I mean, yeah, and he didn't produce as many assists as I hope he would have, especially with a guy like Reece Shepard next to you and some of the talent you have in Kentucky. So yeah, I can see him falling.
Be the guy that wears the draft the jersey with his draft position on it, so he never forgets how many teams slept on him.
Oh, yeah, he definitely be that guy. He like I said, he got the AI mentality, so I can see it.
All right. Last thing about the draft I want to ask is your prediction. What do you see the Grizzlies doing? Do you think that they trade up? Do you think they trade back? Do you think they stay at 9? And then who do you think we end up with in the first round?
Yeah, so and I've been hearing this a lot, which I kind of agree with. Kliman's history tells us that he's looking to move at any point in time. Like if he sees a guy he likes, he's gonna go get him. Like the only time he stayed was for Ja, and that was at 2. Everybody else, I mean, he's either traded up for, like he traded back into the first round to get Dez, Santi, traded up to get Zaire. So my prediction, I think we're going to trade up. Actually, I think they're going to identify a guy they want, and they're going to try to trade up for him. I know there's rumors going around about trading up to Houston for that number 3 pick with Marcus Smart. I don't agree. I don't see Zach Kline getting up Marcus Smart. I think he wants as a piece going to the playoffs, that veteran leadership as well. So I know they probably identified a guy they want. It's just a matter of who is that guy. Like we don't know who that guy is, so I can see him trading up.
All right, trading up. Who we coming home with?
Who we coming home with?
We need to know. You stand on it, baby. Tell me who is your prediction draft night? The Grizzlies, they end up trading up. Who are they going to get?
I'm going to stick to my board. I'm going to say Klingon.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to say Klingon. I don't know. He just screams to me like a Klingon guy. And considering you traded Steven Adams, I just feel like Kleiman wants a guy he could replace Steven Adams, because you see how our offense worked when we had a guy with that kind of skill set. I mean, that's when we was at our highest peak efficiency. So I'm gonna say Klingon.
All right. Well, the officially that the Knicks are saying they're going to try to keep OG Anunoby and sign him back. And the crazy thing about those 4 guys that they have with his Brunson, who is it? Josh Hart, DiVincenzo, and now Mikal Bridges, all Villanova guys, the Villanova 4, which is nuts to me.
Oh, yeah.
I believe they all played together at some point as well. I'm not sure how they crossed over, but I believe they played together at some point. Crazy to me that they're still all together. And so, we'll see. So who knows?
And actually, I did mean to say this with Don Connect. I do have a comp for him, which I'm sure Grizzly fans and Tiger fans go remember. Don Connect is actually a good one. He reminds me of Mike Miller light. Like, I think Orlando Magic Mike Miller in his rookie season. He reminds me of that.
Okay. That's high praise.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm thinking of rookie Mike Miller. I don't know how his career is going to turn out, but when I looked at rookie Mike Miller in Orlando Magic, like Zach, just like almost a carbon copy. It was crazy.
Okay. I like it. All right. Personal questions real quick. How'd you become a Grizzlies fan? Are you from here originally? And obviously we don't know enough about you because we just see you BlackNinjaDJ in the chat. But obviously, amazing job today. Just so everybody's aware, that's from me to you. But obviously, we want to know more about you. So, how did you get to be a Grizzlies fan? Are you from here? What's your story?
Yeah. So I'm from here, born and raised, Memphis bred. So I guess my origin as a Grizzly fan started when I believe I was about, I think at the time I had to be like 7 or 8. And my father, he took me to the Grizzly game in the Pyramid. Like I said, when it was a little like Michael Dickerson. Like I said, when Pau Gasol and them was coming around. So yeah, he took me to a game at the Pyramid. And like I said, that was my first taste of basketball, and just for the love of game of basketball. And so, I mean, ever since that game at the Pyramid, been a fan since, through the good and the bad.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a ride. Like I said, it's been a ride. But hey, I'm proud to be a Grizzly fan. Bleeding through my chest.
I love it. So the why is there so much? I don't know. I can hear myself. I don't know if y'all can. Anyway, it's probably Nate over there pushing stupid buttons. Can y'all hear me? Is there reverb going? No, I don't know. I can hear myself talk. Anyway, so yeah, whatever. It's probably Nate screwing things up over there. We just blame him. And yes, Wayno, I'm not a big fan of the white guys, white Americans in the draft. Okay, I'm not a big fan. I do love Reed Shepherd. I do love Dalton Connect. They just haven't turned out. If all three of them go with Kling in the first 10 picks, I would be shocked. And I don't know if the last time that's happened. We'll let you know on draft night if that ever has happened, because I don't know if that has. Last question, BlackNinjaDJ, your name. How'd you get it? Like, is there a mini behind it? Because we see the name and we gotta, obviously we correlate to you. So what's the story behind it? Just so we can kind of know and get a little our feeling about it. It better be good. It better be a good story.
I don't think it's going to be as eventful maybe as y'all wanted to. So I don't remember how old I was when I came up with it, man. But yeah, I was just like younger. I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna make this YouTube. At the time, I was taking film and video in high school, and I was just thinking about maybe making videos, maybe being a content creator, who knows. So I was like, man, I need a cool name, man. And so I was like, hey, I'm black. I'm moving sounds like a ninja. Yeah, I'm gonna be a black ninja. So yeah, I'm gonna put and my initials to it, and yeah, BlackNinjaDJ. Yeah, so I'm literally a black ninja.
Okay, the great thing about that, listen, me and Nate have talked about it. We actually, at some point, it was more Nate than me at this. He said, I wonder if that's actually somebody we know in real life, because it, like, literally this person could have some, background with DJ and so we didn't know. So he was like, I wonder if that's actually him and just undercover, whatever. And so this whole time I'm thinking a real DJ, like a wooka wooka, like DJ, not just a normal whatever.
I mix a little bit. A little bit. And I love Japanese culture too. So that's also another part. Like I love Japanese culture. Okay. So just kind of that ninja. And again, me being black. Hey, I'm just gonna be honest.
Listen, I love the name. The name's great. Me, like being around here long enough, anytime a good name comes through, like I will click on your name and bring it up no matter what you say, more than others, because I like the name so much. Just like Volcano the Sweat. We'll see him back at some point. But yeah, I love that name, and then he changed it. And then Wayno changed his name because he had his full government name on here, and so he changed his. And so now Wayno
is Wayno. Oh
no, Wayno is not just Wayno. Wayno's been changed.
Where's my guy Meeks and Goon? That's what I was looking for too.
Yeah, they're gonna watch this on the I guess, I don't know, whatever, video on demand. All right, listen, BlackNinjaDJ, you've been amazing. Thank you so much. We obviously went over the time I expected, but I will say, and I'll leave you with this: one, you were awesome. Two, Ryan, who everybody knows from the draft show, and obviously what he's been on here, he's putting out a lot of interesting stuff in our DMs, personal DMs, and he's suggesting that both Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein could both be available because of that trade. And so that might be dominoes to fall if you're a Grizzlies fan, because Hartenstein obviously is going to be, he is a free agent. He's going to want more money. They're going to be a little bit more locked in because they're going to have potential OG that they have to answer, Hartenstein, and then they already have Mitchell Robinson under contract, so they might have to make another trade. And so there's a lot that they have to answer. And so that is the good news. I forgot about Hartenstein. Hartenstein, you win everything if you can somehow come home with a free agent in Hartenstein. You win the offseason automatically for Grizzlies fans for sure. But
work your magic.
For sure. We need that. Austin says, good job. And so, listen, everybody says good job. You did great. We want to do this more often. And so maybe throughout the actual post-game shows, especially on nights where maybe Nate or I are both, potentially one of us are missing, we might be able to do that. Maybe bring on some different fans and do that where we can kind of integrate more of the family into it instead of having just us two and give everybody a shot to kind of speak their mind, give you a platform to kind of do your thing. But you've been awesome. We're going to go ahead and hit a quick break. And then after we come back,
Nate, DJ.
For sure, me and Nate will give you our predictions.
Daniel. Thank you.
10 minutes, 15 minutes. Me and Nate will give you our predictions, and that'll be it. So, guys, you've been good. DJ, you've been good. We'll see y'all on the other side of this break.
Y'all. Speaking of getting rid of toxins, Kenny Stubblefield, David Jones.
Oh, wow.
No, I don't. I mean, depending on who you look at it, he may be a toxin to University of Memphis. The University of Memphis might be a toxin to him. In a very dramatic fashion, David Jones decided he will be taking his talents to the NBA at around 10:55. Man, it started feeling a little bleak. I text you. I said, Kenny, is there any hope?
I mean, he kind of the writing's been on the wall, right? Like, yeah. I mean, he said it to the Daily Memphians, Drew Hill at the combine. If I get
any inclination that I can get,
think at me the right way, I'll stay in the game.
You only have a very short window of time. I think that window is very small. I think you can get caught up in just becoming an amateur basketball player, and you can lose that window of opportunity.
Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
This has turned into unrealistic expectations for teams. Not every team is ready to win a championship. There are steps you got to take to put yourself in position to win it. And I thought that what they had done in Cleveland had become a team that was muddled in nothing. And JB, I thought they created a little bit of a culture. You were able to find a star player. I think it's tough. I go back to what happened with Adrian Griffin in Milwaukee. I mean, you got the second best record in the NBA, and they say, well, we don't know if you're the one to get us over the top. Yeah, but the guy you bring in is only 5-6 games over 500 from that point on. You would hope that realistic expectations start to come back into the fold other than these unrealistic things that it's going to happen. Winning a championship happens just like that because it didn't that way at all.
Tune in to the Night Court Podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Yo, we are back. Listen, the BlackNinjaDJ was awesome. Nate, your thoughts on his performance?
Awesome, man. It was good. So I actually wasn't able to talk to him before he came on tonight, and I loved it. Well, he did kiss up a little bit by having Daron Holmes up that high. I will say I was never going to not love him once he did that. But no, it was awesome, man. Really good insights. I was super intrigued to hear him talk about, especially Klingon, because it's a guy who obviously I can get swayed by the slightest breeze come draft time. But we've had a bunch of guys who weren't super, I guess Ryan's pretty low on Klingon, but Chip is not crazy low on Klingon. He just didn't like him as much as he liked some other guys. So it's good to hear from someone who does like Klingon and thinks he fits really well. Yeah. Really interesting hearing these insights, and I was really happy to have him on, man. I thought he was awesome, man. Way smarter than me in general, but especially with the draft.
Doesn't take much, but
yeah,
I will say that we do have another guy that potentially could be showing up. Wayno.
I need to know where that came from.
What is? I'll get up as Sparrow's fart. I don't know what that is. Wayno, you're the best. I have no idea where that comes from. I've never heard that in my life.
It's awesome.
It is awesome. All right, so listen, let's go through the rundown. It's going to be a completely, front to back, trying to explain a little bit of the breaking news and what's happened. Okay, so obviously, Mikal Bridges is into New York Knicks. Okay, there's been a lot of I guess unknown on who's going. I would assume there's not going to be much other than Bojan Bogdanovic is going to be the main name because he was obviously the one that makes the money work.
Yep.
So that happens. I don't know if this is closed because I don't think Bojan would come to the Grizzlies. I don't think that's a potential because they're obviously you're talking about flipping into bringing in a third team and making that work. Pretty difficult. So I don't know if that's on the table, but you do have a lot of picks. Don't care about that. What does that mean for the Brooklyn Nets? So the Brooklyn Nets obviously have guys that they're going to do a fire sale. We talked about that. And so I don't know if that gets you anything there. I don't know if there's much on there that I love. I know people have talked about Daron Sharp. I believe Daron Sharp is there on the Nets. I believe. I know he was at one point in life. I don't remember if he still is, but so he's there, still there. So he's an option as potentially, a fire sale candidate. But then also let's look at the Knicks. So the Knicks have a guy like Josh Hart, DiVincenzo, Jalen Brunson, and Mikal Bridges as their four. And shout out to Ryan for bringing this up. You also have another guy in Julius Randle. Does that make them go small? Because obviously you bring Julius Randle back. He's wanted to be a starter, right? And he's under contract. You have another guy like Mitchell Robinson under contract. So you obviously could bring DiVincenzo off the bench. I don't think that would be too much of a shock if you want to go Mitchell Robinson and Julius Randle's with the other three guy, and then bring a DiVincenzo off the bench. I think that works. What does that mean for Isaiah Hartenstein? That means you have to somehow trade out Mitchell Robinson and not bring any money back.
Well,
that has to be some kind of way.
Would you be shocked if they got rid of Julius Randle?
No, not at all.
Yeah, that's sort of where I'm kind of, okay, do they shop him around now to make more room? Because when you think about the guys that they're going to build around there, especially since the report is they want to keep OG, I'm like, all right, you got size, defending, rebounding. Really, if you're going to have a guy like Brunson, wouldn't you rather get a big to be able to put in there that plays, that does not need the ball nearly as much, right? I feel like you didn't get to see the Randall Brunson thing play out this year because of their respective injuries. At the same time, Brunson has become the guy there, and it's never felt like Randall's the best fit with him, right? Or they weren't the best fit with each other. Now that it feels like Brunson's the guy, Randall would be the guy on the outside looking in.
Yeah, 100%. And if it was me, I'm figuring out a way to get off of Julius Randle. If it's me, I'm getting off of Julius Randle, and I'm going to go and re-sign. And maybe it's somehow you can do a three-way trade where maybe you don't bring back as much money and maybe you just bring back a pick or two. Mainly you're shedding that contract to be able to sign a guy like Isaiah Hartenstein because he is a free agent. And I know you have I think they have a bird rights. And so they can match contracts, but they can only give him so much with his new contract. And so we'll see. There's a lot to be left to be talked about because the Randall stuff, Hartenstein, OG. I didn't even mention OG earlier. I know you did, but OG wanted to come back. Let's say you do throw OG into that. Like that's Julius Randle, OG, Mikal, Josh Hart. That's 4, right? And that's not even a center yet. You get Mitchell Robinson or
DiVincenzo. There's a lot of money on that roster. It's a lot of dollar bills that you don't have enough to make it all the way around. So, listen, if the Grizz go get Hartenstein, I don't even have to talk about Daron Holmes again. We'll be good. I'll be a very happy camper. I just assumed that ship had sailed. I was like, they're going to ship out Robinson to somebody. Hartenstein's their guy. But this changes all that.
All right, let me share a little bit about that the Brooklyn Nets pick. So when they did trade for Kevin Durant, right? They traded off Kevin Durant and they brought back Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, whatever. So the Nets now, this is a tally that's going on. Unless they were to trade Cam Johnson, they could increase the tally. But for Kevin Durant so far, the Nets have gotten Cam Johnson, 5 second-round picks, and 9 first-round picks, all for Kevin Durant. If you included all of these into a bundle, that's crazy.
And a rebuild that could have started 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. If they'd have done this before, this would have been even better.
Yeah, it's like, oh, look, you got the haul for the player that you should have traded 2 seasons ago that just happened to retain his value, like a lot of players don't.
Yeah,
sorry, they did a really good job. They got a great haul for Mikal Bridges. You cannot deny that. Dog, they could have done this 2 years ago.
Right, for sure.
Hate the Nets.
Yeah, and Clayton Hurley, obviously, hitting with this. I will say, if you're on Twitter, I appreciate you, especially commenting and watching. But if you want to come to YouTube, you'll see more of an interaction, especially during the post-game shows. The YouTube comments, they flow really fast compared to the Twitter. So if you're there and you're commenting or chatting or whatever, and you're not seeing as many people, come to YouTube over at Bluff City Media, and I promise you'll see a lot more interaction. And so the post-game shows is where a lot of this stuff happens. And maybe tomorrow night. Don't want to forget telling people about the draft show tomorrow night at 7. We'll be live with me and Nate, and then Chip and Ryan. But he's talking about there's a lot of players that are seemingly available that could really help the Grizzlies suddenly. So talking about that, you look at Mikal Bridges real fast. You lose out on him, right? You don't get Mikal Bridges. Grizzlies fans want to be pissed? Yes. But this actually could benefit the Grizzlies in a lot of different ways, because obviously the snowball's rolling now. We're within 24 hours, less than 24 hours from the draft night. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that's happening. I want to take off work tomorrow just so I can see everything that's happening. Hopefully nothing crazy happens. But I will say that should be a fun time. So nothing too crazy. But I think that this actually does help the Grizzlies. So if you do miss out on Mikal Bridges another time, I think it's okay, because now we're looking at potential that there's a lot of other teams making runs at different players. And so we'll kind of see where it sends the Grizzlies going into tomorrow night.
It's going to send them to the Hartenstein sweepstakes, baby. We're back. The dream is alive.
All right. Let's get out of here. 5 minutes or less. Let's keep it on the full hour. But Nate, give me your predictions before the draft tomorrow night. Obviously, there have been a lot of talk and chatter about the Grizzlies moving up, moving back, staying at 9. Any thoughts, any final thoughts of our predictions that you got?
I think they make the pick while I'm in the delivery room. Shout out to Wayno. Other than that, hell if I know, dog. I mean, if I had to guess, I just can't guess, because there's a lot to say for them trading either up or down, right? Like, if Klingen's really their guy, I could see them trading up. Maybe it's a smoke screen. They want to go get Shepherd. All of that I could see happening. I think they can fill a lot of needs by trading down. They can still get a guy that fits for them and kill 2 birds with 1 stone, get other assets to fill in the other needs. Because I know I've seen a lot of, we already have wings on wings on wings. Why do we need another wing? I just have never believed in that. Like, you can always use another wing in today's NBA, especially if it's a high upside guy like Holland, right? That could pan out. Or you bring in a guy like a Cam Johnson, for example, that can help you as an established wing, right? At the same time, we just talked about Holland. There's a good chance one of these guys is there at 9 between like a Klingen or a Holland, right? I thought Holland makes the most sense out of the big name Grizz guys that are there the whole time. I just think he's one of those guys that it's sort of weird, but it's the same thing as Daron Holmes. I think people are overthinking it. Like, I think you watch him, you're like, all the tools are there. Maybe it takes him a while to develop the shot, but hyper athletic wing that can defend. Welcome to the NBA.
Yeah.
So it's, I'm not going to pretend to be able to know, right? Chances are they'll end up with 0 first-round picks or 3 first-round picks. It's do anything. I'll just make a prediction for the sake of making a prediction. I think that they trade down.
Okay.
I think they trade down and they get one of these players that is available, that's been in the NBA and can help them now.
Okay. I'm not against that at all, not in the least bit. But I will say that my prediction is that the Grizzlies move up to 5. And I think that Detroit, if you look at Trajan Langdon and what he's done and what his his motto has been since he's got there is he needs to do the rebuild needs to start now. And so I think that he's getting over and taking over. And at that point, Detroit knows that, hey, there are guys that we would like. I don't know if there's guys that they love at 5. And so at that point, in my opinion, I think the way the draft, could easily go is you could say, if Rishashar goes 1, I do think that you see Sarr and Reed Shepherd follow. And at that point, Rishashar's off the board. I think that easily they could go the Spurs being at 4. I think they can go and get a Stephon Castle. Everybody's already rumored him to go to that 4 spot. And at that point, the Detroit Pistons can go at 5 and they can actually grab a guy like a Matas Buzelis if they want him. They could grab a Donovan Clingan. But in my opinion, Clingan doesn't help them. Not right now, not in a rebuild. I don't think he's a guy that helps them in that area. And so at that point, the Grizzlies could trade with Detroit, who with Kleiman and Trajan Langdon have done business in the past. And what happens then is they move back and they grab an extra pick along the way. And so they are moving back 4 spots. The Grizzlies grab Clingan. And at that point, they're going to get one of the next 4 guys, whether it's Buzelis, Saloon, maybe Dalton Connect, who they want more shooting. There's so many guys that they could actually go get. I think Detroit is just there. And as Wayno says, the Hornets at 6 is another option. I just don't know why Clingan would go past 5, in my opinion, because I think if Detroit doesn't want him, they know other teams want Clingan. And so at this point, they could trade with anybody else, maybe Orlando or anybody else that might be interested in going to get another big guy and would make that trade. I just think that if you're looking at it, and this is for me personally, and I'll have this on my betting show in the morning, my best bet for tomorrow's night draft is Clingan at 5. I think, and I've already done this, I put Clingan at number 1. I have him. I had him at plus 650. I know Ryan told us at one point in the show to get it him. I think it was 19-1. Which is plus 1,900 to go number 1. Clingan was like a month or so ago. But I had him at plus 600 for Clingan go 1. I think Clingan goes 1 or 5 because I think Detroit's going to trade out of 5, and whoever they trade with is going to come up and grab Clingan. So if you want that, it's plus 1,000 right now on DraftKings. Clingan at number 5. I think it's worth a $10 throw in, but easily the Hornets as well at 6. But that's my opinion. That's how the Grizzlies go. If that doesn't happen, they don't stay at 9. I like your plan for falling back, and I think they go get a guy like a Khalil Ware.
I think they pick at a multiple of 3. That's my prediction. A multiple of 3.
So you're saying they'll be at 16?
That's not. Did you do that on purpose? I can't. That's the problem. I need to know when you're kidding. I'm not sure if you're just that bad at math.
74.
Nope.
Listen, I'm not smart, so yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, that's it about the draft. Any closing thoughts before we kind of wrap this up and get ready for the draft tomorrow?
Nah, man, I'm pumped for tomorrow. It ought to be a good time. Other than here, the sun doesn't go down till 9 o'clock, and we're an hour back from Central Time. So I will be. I'll just give a little bit of a preview. I'll be all cleaned up tomorrow, ready for the draft like a true professional, and I will probably sweat quite a bit, but that's all right. We're here for the people and excited to see what the Grizz do tomorrow.
That's right. All right. I love a good tease. Nothing better, but we have the full draft show tomorrow night. It should be a good time. I hope that you get your audio fixed because every time you're not on mute, I hear myself and it's just terrible. But tomorrow will be a lot of fun. So me and Nate will be manning the show. We'll be your hosts throughout the entire evening. And then we'll also have Ryan and Chip coming on throughout the show. We have producers on the back end that's going to be helping us out, giving us different graphics. I promise you want to watch the show. We put in a lot of time and effort into it. We're going to give you the full NBA spiel until the Grizzlies pick. And once the Grizzlies pick, all guns a-blazing, we're going to talk Grizzlies basketball.
Yeah, and Nate's going to come unhinged at certain points. So that's going to be the main reason you want to tune in is because I will 100% be losing my mind at least 2 different moments. So
he'll be giving us the fit checks for sure.
that's not what I meant.
All right, that's all we got. We'll see y'all all tomorrow night, 7:00 Central Time Zone, 8:00 Eastern. We'll be here. Make sure you tell your friends. Draft night with Bluff City Media, sponsored and hosted by Grizz 901. Be nice. Tell your friends.